The next deep dive we're going to have a look at is money, the repeating profit accelerator. And this is where I'm going to show you how you can increase your revenue by 46% and your net profit by 63%. And you can do that within 6 weeks if you follow this process. This is a real golden nugget that all our clients work with. We call it the profit chain because it's about finding the weakest link. And we know that in a chain, the strongest chain is only as good as its weakest link. Now, I want to give you an aerospace analogy to start with, because quite often people think that when aircraft want to go faster, they just build a bigger engine. Well, that's actually not quite the case. If they want to go faster, the aerospace engineers, they actually look at the aerodynamics of the plane. Now, the engine might be the sales or the customers, whereas the aerodynamics, that is your net profit, all right, your customer conversion rate. Because when you can look at those two, it's like the aerodynamics of an aeroplane. You'll actually make it go faster by looking at that. So you don't have to build a bigger engine. And I'm going to prove this to you because we're going to show you that lead generation isn't the be-all and end-all to get extra customers coming in. So when we're looking at the profit chain, we've got prospect leads, we've got prospect conversion rate, which tells us how many people we've converted. Then we look at the number of purchases, the average pound spend, which gives us our proceeds or our revenue. Then we look at the profit margin, which allows us to know our net profit. Now, the thing is, those 5 areas, prospects, prospect leads, conversion rate, number of purchases, average pound spend, and profit margin, we can actually look at that and we can make changes to it. The people, the revenue, and the net profit are a result of these 5 levers that we're actually looking at. So I'm going to talk you through Steve, who owned a shoe shop. And when we first worked with him on the profit chain, these are the numbers that he came out with. So he was open 7 days every week, and he had 480 people either coming into the shop, phoning in, or making online orders. Now, when we first asked him how many people were coming into the shop, Steve actually had no idea. So this was a test and measure over a period of time. And then we asked him, what is your conversion rate? Those 480 people, how many are you converting? He said, at least 70 to 80%. We did a test and measure, and Steve was shocked that the conversion rate was only 30%. So of those 480 potential people they could sell to, they were only having 144. Steve was absolutely mortified with that. And it's the same with the number of purchases and the average pound spend. We had to test and measure to find out what were the average number of purchases. And I forgot to say also, you can do this profit chain on a weekly, a monthly, a quarterly basis, however you want to do it. We always recommend doing it on a monthly basis so you can make changes quickly without waiting for things to, after a quarter or 6 months. I just need to say that. Now, the number of purchases is the average number of purchases, just the same as just the average pound spend, not the high, not the low, but we're adding everything up so you can have the average pound spend. We found out there was 140 pounds that people were buying, a couple of pairs of shoes, a belt, a bag, shoe polish, shoe accessories, things like that. The proceeds, the revenue, was £40,000. Now, Steve scratched his head. He thought, well, that's should be pretty good because, look, I've annualized it out. You see on the right-hand side there, £483,000. But here's the thing. When we looked at his profit margin, and on a shoe shop, it should have been about 25%, okay? Shoe shop, on an average, industry average, 25%. Steve was at 6%, 2,400 per month. No wonder he was losing money. He now understood. So we showed him, and I'm going to the right-hand column now because you can see there's a 10% increase. If there's a 10% increase in prospect leads and a 10% in conversion rate, going to 33%, all of a sudden the people who are buying goes from 144 to 174. That's 30 more people. And if we increase the number of purchases by 10% and the average pound spend by 10%, then our revenue, our proceeds goes from 40,000 to 59,000 pounds. If you do the maths on that, that is a 46% increase just by those 4 levers. And then by increasing the profit margin just by 10%, Steve took his net profit from 2,419 up to 3,896. That is a 63% increase in profit. Give me a yes in the chat box if you'd like a 63% increase in your net profit. Hey, Phil, thank you. Yep, you got there. All righty. Jack, you'd like that as, yeah? Samantha, okay. I'm getting a whole lot of yeps, yeah, wise. Thanks, guys. All right, taking a quick break there. Now, quite fairly, those 5 levers in blue aren't all going to increase by 10%. So we need to bespoke the figures. So this is what we did for Steve. And I want you to notice when I go over to the next page, we have not increased the prospect leads at all. Okay, all we're dealing with are the other 4 areas that you need to look at. So we looked at Steve's conversion rate. That needed to increase. All right, he needed to get that to at least 70 or 80%. And we can do that with a system. So we increased it by 60%. All of a sudden now, there's 288 people that are buying as opposed to the 144. And with the number of purchases, just by, again, having the right process, the right script for the sales team, they can increase the number of purchases and the average pound spent by at least 50%. That's the what we put Steve in to do. And the profit margin. All right, we increased it by 35%, so it goes from 6 to 8%. It's still way lower than the industry average. But please note now that the proceeds have gone from 40,320, not 59,000 like it was, but 181,000 pounds just by implementing those strategies. And the net profit, instead of 2,400, you're up to 14,696. A real positive increase, more than the 63% that you were looking at. And notice that we haven't increased the prospect leads whatsoever. We've just looked at the other 4 levers. If we increase the prospect leads through marketing, all right, or good operations, then these figures are going to go up even more. But can you see how the profit chain, finding the weakest link and then bespoking your growth figures, can help your business grow?